Hi, this is Arik,
And Aurelia.
and we're here to talk about life and interesting things.
Or so we think, but as always, you will be the judge of it.
Either way, what we have to talk about is
Ageless.
Well, right, so just today, actually, you said to me that it's been almost a month since the riots broke out, right?
Yeah, I think it was like June 8th or something like that.
And, I mean, do you think, we've gotten anywhere as a collective because of them? Like, aside from...
Down.
Okay.
And more corona.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I would think, like if this would be a third world country, then this would be an insurgents. I mean, everybody would think that those rioters would want to topple the government. But I guess in the States or in the rest of the Western world, it's called freedom of speech.
Yeah, because I think I want to just kind of address like a little bit of how things are just kind of getting worse in America and thereby for the world. Like, I feel like we should just, raise some awareness about that. And I'm sad that things have gone down since then. Like, it's just more corona and hatred, and it's just...
I'm very sad about it.
I mean, we're not political. I know you're not political. I'm not political.
No, because I mean, politics, I don't know, politics, I don't even think it changes that much.
I once heard that politics is Hollywood for ugly people.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. Yeah, I mean, this is how I sometimes feel.
Wag the dog.
Yeah, that it's all just a big stage play, and I don't know. Of course, like, it's necessary because we most certainly, as a collective, are not ready for self-governing. Like, I mean, we are not ready for that kind of freedom, because this kind of freedom comes at the price of great self-responsibility, and that's not who we are. And the riots have shown us this really clearly, like the first weekend when it started, and it was not just rioting, but it was looting. And here you see it, like whenever there's an anonymous mob and the police will not be there to catch you or to throw you into jail, all morals go out the window, and so we're not ready for that.
It's like people only, statistics have shown that people only follow the law because they're afraid of the consequences.
Yeah, they're afraid to get caught.
They don't follow the law because it's the, correct thing to do or the right thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, don't murder somebody. They do it because they don't want to go to jail.
But like I said in my...
Not because, like, thou shalt not kill, for example. It breaks the karmic law and stuff.
Yeah, like I said, in the Karma Workshop 101, it's like every time you think, oh, I could kill that person, or you actually really mean it, like you wish somebody dead in your mind, that's like killing someone.
I think we could probably go more into that in a Speechless episode, which is our new podcast where we really get in deep and really talk about serious things. Because that's pretty intense. But yeah, either way, I just feel like there's just so much hatred, and if like chaos really breaks out in the United States, it's not going to be good for the rest of the world because it's like a leader, So I just feel like, it's really intense.
It'll be horrible. I mean, the consequences of all this separatism almost... if I just think about it, it's really, really horrible. What have I heard today about, travel restrictions in Europe? Like,
No.
that Europe thinks about to sharpen the people or the restrictions, like for people they let into the country, because if they're coming from areas where there's a lot of corona, then they will not let them in.
So it like sharper than it already is, because I can't even go into the next country with my scooter without putting a license plate on it.
Yeah, but
With
you
my
can
BMW
go.
scooter.
Yeah, but you can go because you have the freedom to put this license plate onto your e-scooter, right? Like you can do that.
Yeah, I can, but I have to put on a license plate.
But then also, if you go to Austria or to Italy or whatever with your scooter plus the license plate, you can do that because you're traveling from within Europe. Like basically the way I understood that was that they will not allow any Americans into the country anymore. Or any Chinese or anybody who comes from an area of high corona outbreak, like they will not be allowed into Europe.
I'm shaking my head right and left. Do you think that's the goal of all this?
We have said this from the start, we're gonna end up like in Wall-E for, our weekly movie tip.
He
Like
just wants to put us
Wall-E.
on screens.
Yeah.
Well, it's really intense because, like, I just prepared the next astrological forecast for the lunar eclipse that's coming up. Actually, on the 4th of July is when the window opens.
Wow.
So I think that's a really intense solar return for the States, which is already having its Pluto return. So, like, that's really intense. Lunar eclipse, where you don't see the moon, right? And I just feel like, yeah, the riots just made everything worse, and I don't mean like that it's, what they were rioting for, like in principle, that's fine, like that's great, like, you should,
Of course, since the French Revolution, we know that we want to have égalité, like, everybody needs to be equal. After all, we are all human beings.
Yeah, that's not the point. It's just like, it's just about the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And that's what's going on.
Yeah, so that's why my talk about égalité and the French Revolution was a little bit sarcastic for those who didn't catch it. Because are we treating each other any more equal?
No.
No, we don't.
No, we're not.
We're not at all.
Can you, like, just elaborate a little bit? Like, what does that even mean? Like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions?
Well, what it means to me is that, if I have a good intention, then I am usually very short-sighted. Like, it is something that I want to do. Like, I have a cause and I'm operating within that cause, and the intention that I have in my own judgment is good. However, that's all I see. It's like, if I have a good intention, that's usually very narrow-minded. I usually do not have the big picture. It's what you sometimes call it, oh my God, it looked good at the time, but in hindsight, what a disaster. Because anything that lacks the bigger picture can only be self-serving or meddling, which is usually.
Do you know what else? You know what else? Something I always say: the means never justify the end. And I'm gonna say it again: the means never justify the end. Never. Never. They never do.
Never.
Justification. That's what it sounds like you're talking about, like having this small-mindedness.
Yes.
And that's what's happened.
But it sounds good,
But it
it's a
sounds good at the
intention.
time. It's reactive.
Yeah.
Of course it sounded good at the time. For those 5 split seconds where, my amygdala took over and completely hijacked all of my brain and the processes.
Yeah.
Because I can't even tell you how many times I'm working with people and the amygdala hijacks the whole entire system. And that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And then that's where it seems like a good idea at the time, but it's the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and that's where all this hatred's coming from and going also. All that hatred, it just really made it worse. Like, it just spread the corona, which all started in Capricorn. We're gonna have the lunar eclipse in Capricorn on the birthday of the United States, which is Cancer. Doesn't look that good.
It would be interesting to see if you would pull a new chart for the pandemic. If it's now more stable than it used to be. Because I remember that you said if we're not really changing our behavior, and not only like the behavior, what it looks like, but really changing it from within, then like the evil speech and the hatred and all of that, then there's going to be a second wave of the pandemic. And if not, then it could just disappear overnight, because the chart was very unstable. So I think it'll be interesting to see if you could do that.
Yeah, that's the thing with astrology, you have the free will to have them run you or to run it. The stars, for anybody who doesn't get that. And with the corona, it was like very clear that, we have the opportunities to either, propel this chaos or to end it. But then when those riots started...
Oh, it was clear.
It was so clear to me. It was like, wow, you guys, thanks. And I thought, just so many people who pretend promote peace all throughout their feeds and stuff in their classes, they became so hateful. So hateful.
Yeah,
like the hypocrisy.
Yes, of course, the hypocrisy.
They're not peaceful within. It's a faux peace.
Yeah, it's no peace at all.
Like what you call decorative dharma.
Yeah. That's what it is.
That I'm peaceful so I can get more followers.
And
I look peaceful. But really I'm not. I have so much tension inside of me. And I really feel like, part of this whole corona thing brought it out. But either way, I just feel like...
If all the people who pretend that they are peaceful really were... then they would probably cut the wars on the planet in half. But let's not forget, one of the things that's really causing adversity and fighting and in the end the war is complaining. And now I can just say it for everybody who just came on to our podcast. I'm the widow of a black man, and so I had my share of reverse discrimination, and I most certainly think that all life matters, which include black lives. So I'm not saying any of that, and killing anybody, may it be by police or may it be by a serial killer, I don't care for any killing whatsoever. But having another war and complaining, like that is the energy that will eventually lead to war. Because spiritually it is like this. Every time I complain about something, I am not taking responsibility. And whenever I'm not taking responsibility, that means I am blaming somebody. So complaining is really just another word for blame. And as soon as I point the finger at somebody, I am actually attacking. We have talked about that on other occasions many times, that, every time I blame, I attack.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well said. I think this is really important for everybody to hear, to just kind of help reduce the chaos in the States and worldwide, because it's spreading out from there. We'll be right back after this. This episode of Ageless is brought to you by Aurelia Essential Oils, wellness for you and everyone around you. Visit AureliaEssentialOils.com for more information. If you like Ageless, please consider subscribing to our unedited, uncut, unfiltered, politically incorrect podcast, Speechless. Okay, we're back with Arik
And Aurelia.
And just, keeping up with this podcast about, again, we're not political, but we're talking really about the chaos in the United States and how we really want to prevent it, because as we have said, that if chaos really is breaking out in the United States, if it really loses it, then it's not going to be good for the rest of the world. It's not like, some other country loses it and then it affects all the world. Like, this country affects the entire planet. And so we really want to just kind of raise as much consciousness and awareness about it. And I think because the media is the one really throwing the gas on the fire, I wanted to talk and just kind of ask you, about what are half-truths?
I first wanted to say, that we already feel like the chaos that has been created with our shipments.
Oh, talk about that.
Uh-huh.
Then we'll get into half-truths. Tell me. I mean, I know, but, just bring it into the mix here.
Because, with all the travel restrictions and everything,
and these borders closing. I'm still shocked about, you say things and they shock me and then they hit me an hour or 2 days or a month later.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit shocked about the border still.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry that I had to spring that on you, but
the shipments, go ahead.
The shipments, because, with, for example, Lufthansa, not being able to fly into the States. That's just in response to when you say, if the States go down, the whole planet will feel it. And, in this small way, we're already feeling the consequences, because this Lufthansa could not fly there anymore.
Yeah.
They pretty much went bankrupt, quote unquote.
They did. The German government had to bail them out. €8 trillion.
Yeah, it was an insane amount of money. But what that meant was that our post office, that was basically just hitchhiking on passenger planes with their mail, they stopped shipping normal mail.
Yeah, we can't ship
to
the
the United States, so we cannot send letters
or to Australia
to the United States, and so I find this really, really troubling. I mean, of course, we can use private carriers, which we do, but what's the price? Oh my God! We had to rearrange our whole logistics just to accommodate that we cannot send anything by post anymore.
Yeah.
And that was just a small example. I mean, we're this tiny, tiny company, but where we can already say, the consequences of what's happening in America, how if it goes down, the whole world will suffer.
Definitely. All this kind of what you call it, separatarianism or separatism, it's scary.
Yeah, I always thought it,
easier to control information.
Exactly.
Because remember how I said, reluctantly, I've said, we've kind of peaked as a civilization, with Google and everything.
Yeah.
And now it's now they want to control the information and create more half-truths.
Yeah.
It's easier to make half-truths.
It's very easy if you're not allowed to talk to each other, because, pretty much everything is anyhow recorded. But if I talk to somebody face to face, no, then a chemistry starts to happen.
Yeah.
And then within that
The vortexes
chemistry,
start to interact.
exactly like what we...
So I don't like talking to certain people face to face.
Yeah, well, be it as it may, my point is that, the chemistry is still there, and from this chemistry something happens. I think, I'm not so good with the New Testament and stuff, but I think that Jesus said this: wherever there are two meeting like with love, I'm the third amongst you, or something like that. And that would be the lover's card. It's like two people and an angel, or two consciousnesses, and then the angel comes in, and through that like third party, which is the angel, like some wisdom comes flying in. And that can seriously only happen face to face. And so my thing always was, when the whole social distancing thing started, and that, we cannot talk to each other anymore. First of all, there is a lot of fear. As you guys know, we have this adoring little dog, and so we were exempt from like total lockdown laws, because we had to walk the dog, so we had permission to go out regularly, many times a day. And then we felt like how scared people were to interact, because everybody was afraid that now we're going to get corona if we talk to the other person. Even if we just say hello, it's like it's too risky. And now that the social distancing is no longer the number one issue, it's still we have to wear the masks. And so when you have these masks on, you don't want to talk.
Wow, it's intense.
Seriously, think about it. With whom are you talking when you have the masks on?
Even just psychologically, because you can't see the mouth.
Yeah. And you cannot see the face. Like, getting back to our sweet dog, like she has her pet groomer, and we have to go to her to cut her little paw hairs, so that she's not sliding on the parquet or on the tiles. So she loves that woman. And the woman is really kind, and there was never a problem. The first time we went and we had to wear masks, Saya, that's the name of our dog, freaked out. Like, both of us, we barely could hold her down there, and we really couldn't do any grooming at all. And why? Because, all of a sudden Saya didn't know anymore, is the woman friend or foe? Because dogs, they react to micro movements in the face, in the facial expressions. And there used to be this, I think, British show, Lie to Me. It was amazing because it was about these artists who could actually read like these micro movements in the face and knew exactly if somebody was telling the truth or not. Either way, like, dogs react to these micro movements as well. And so she, with the masks on, cannot decide if somebody is a foe or a friend. And so she's freaking out. And on a subconscious level, it's the same for us. Somebody wears a mask and we do not know. It's like the archetypal bank robber is having like a mask, like you don't see the facial muscles. And so it instantly creates like this atmosphere of distance and separation.
Yeah, and also easier to be lied to.
Exactly.
So what's a half-truth?
Well, that's a whole podcast on its own, I swear.
Just in relation to what's going on in the States, in the media, and like with the masks and everything that you're talking about, like...
Well, a half-truth is something that is true from having half of the picture.
Yeah, so you have the face, so we're looking at half-truths all the time.
Yeah. Like, for example, like we never get all the facts. So we're all operating upon half-truths. Because now it says, okay, like the corona... One half of the people say the corona cases are spiking. The other half says, no, it's the same as always, but we do more testing. I mean, it's both true, probably, maybe not, but either way, it's like, I do not know, is it true or not? To me, it's a half-truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or in a spiritual sense, a half-truth would be, love is all there is. I mean, of course, this is true.
Mm-hmm.
But it becomes a half-truth when I apply it querbeet, we say in German. It's like if I apply it across the borders.
Right.
Which means if I lose discrimination with it. Because, yes, in the highest sense, love is all there is.
I think a lot, like what I was talking about, like, a lot of these people who promote peace and love is all there is and love is all you need, and I love the Beatles. I'm not necessarily a Beatles fan, but, I'm more of a Stones guy, but whatever. Love is there and this is all great.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm really sorry. I have to apologize, but I cannot hold it in. Like I'm
Sympathy or the devil?
Yes, exactly.
I knew it.
You knew it, right?
Yeah, I knew it.
See, this is we've been married for such a long time. We just know each other. So yeah, one sympathy for the devil.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste.
And many names as well.
So, yeah, I think a lot of these people, when confronted with a half-truth that threatened their identity that's built on half-truths, they freaked out. They just completely lost it. But I guess it makes sense with exactly what you're saying, but I also feel like the media uses these half-truths to just manipulate people.
Absolutely, that's what half-truths are for. If I use them selfishly. And the way I would use them to manipulate is basically that I say things exactly the way I know people want to hear them.
Right.
For their own self-images, like you said.
Like you've mastered your ego.
Yeah, and if these self-images are threatened, then people freak out because
you just spoke about this morning.
I did.
That remember because I got a lot of good feedback about the announcement of Speechless, but I also got the 5% that freaks out, and remember we came to the conclusion that. How did you put it? That it was threatening to people's self-image that they wouldn't be given the whole picture or all of everything that we would say in Speechless that we wouldn't say in Ageless. What did you say again?
Well, I do not know word by word, but they felt betrayed.
No, say it word by word.
Because
just kidding.
They felt betrayed. This is what I still feel, because they feel entitled to the whole big picture, and you saying that they may not have the vessel for it, that is against their self-images. This is no, that will not work. Not in terms of how they see themselves, self-righteous and entitled. And they are entitled to the whole truth. And who are you to decide that they are not?
Mm-hmm.
Because they are
Jerry Maguire. You can't handle the truth.
Exactly, and they are
Maguire,
the society that thinks, that they are looking for everything that's free on the internet. I mean, we have talked about that before, and that's just
These
one
people,
of those
oh my
spiritual
God.
principles, like whether you believe in them or not. Believe is not required because it is still true. You know, you get what you pay for, and not the way people normally understand it. You know, that, oh, you know, like it's like not worth a lot if
If I
it
buy a
doesn't
Mac
cost
or
a
if I
lot.
buy a PC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's, you know, you get what you pay for because, you know, you have the vessel for it. And we see it many, many times
Yes.
in our classes because, I mean, you
Yes.
guys, you also know, like, we have pro bono programs and, you know, we have all of that. And it is the great, great, great exception if somebody gets a course or a workshop for free, that they can actually access the information.
Yep.
Because there is a reason for why some people just cannot afford a 10,000 euro per month or dollars per month life coaching.
Yeah.
And then there's a reason for others that can. I mean, if people would not be able to pay it, we wouldn't have it as an offering on our site.
Right.
But then some people cannot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for it, and people do not want to hear that.
And that, yeah, that
Because they rather, you know, live with their
destroy the
unsuccessful
statues.
loser self-image than to be brave enough and say, wow, you know, actually, yes, let me think about that.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I would if I could.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's heartwarming. And this, I think, we're coming full circle as always with Ageless, that this is what this is all about that's going on in the States. Because the United States of America was built on human rights.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we went there. I was there. You know, we went there. I was there in past life. We went there to escape that king of England because, you know, we wanted to build the land that was based on human rights. And then it turned into the American dream, which used to be something that people respected openly. Now, of course, they have to do it behind closed doors. But then it was like really about like you make it. You bring something beautiful into the world. And now everyone wants it, me too.
Yeah.
But without the work.
Yeah.
Because you know what? The American dream implies work.
Yes, and self-responsibility.
My grandpa did it.
Yeah.
His father did it. I know. I'm speaking from, you know, lineage that did it. It requires work. And people, they just want it too.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're talking about here. And we will, of course, elaborate more on this in Speechless, which is totally worth it. And so is everything else that you are curious about, even has nothing to do with this. I'm sure whatever you're looking into is worth it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything is worth it.
Absolutely.
You know?
You get what you pay for. Let's
You
not
get what you
forget
pay
it.
for. It has many meanings.
Yes.
So if you don't have anything else to say, I think we can end on this good note.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any...
Love you all and a lot of peace. I wish you.
Yes, we wish you lots of peace, and please, 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 we beg you, think about these things to really make a difference, especially around the eclipse.
Yeah.
You know?
That would be really great. And please stop with those hateful speeches because, you know, you want to make sure that one more piece of affirmative action is going to make a difference inside of somebody.
This has been Arik.
And Aurelia.
And you've just listened to
Ageless.
Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Google, and Spotify. Bye, guys.
Bye.